always read along with me, and this is a good one because you know what? It's easy to lose our faith and lose our trust. I trust that everything works out for the best. I trust that my life is evolving perfectly. I accept the world as it is while still striving to improve it however I can. Even though I may have experienced injustice or harm in the past, I am cultivating within me a sense of trust that things eventually work out for the best. With a faith in the healing power of time, I move forward in my life without blocking the goodness that is destined to come my way. I let go of fear and blockages and open to acceptance. I trust in a positive outcome to all circumstances and events. I have faith in the universe to provide the lessons and support I need to be my very best. And I want to thank my husband, Dean Evenson, who has given me that sense of trust and faith. I am so grateful for him.
You know, Dudley, I really feel the trust in my personal life, and I really feel that whatever happens to me, I can learn from it and go forward. But I think the events in Ukraine and this outside thing, it's hard for me to believe in a good outcome or trust in that worldly sense that things are going to come out well. But anyway, in my personal life, I feel the trust, and I feel that, like you said, it says the support and do I have the support to learn from what I've gone through? And sometimes it's really challenging, but I do feel that, but I don't know how to accept some of the events on the world stage right now. That's my challenge.
I hear you. This has happened before. These kinds of things, wars, they've happened before. The biggest one, well, I don't know, World War II, it was horrible. I mean, I can't even imagine what our parents went through in terms of, being there, having gone through the Great Depression and then end up, going through World War II and sending, people off to war, and then hearing what Hitler did. And so there's no easy answer here. One thing that comes to my mind is that we now know what that looks like, what that kind of evil looks like. And so we need to be paying attention to it. And then we need to not let it ever get to that point. And I think, Karen, probably that's one of the things that you're seeing, is because here this guy's just, charging into Ukraine, thinking they can take it over or whatever. And I don't know the answer in the immediate, but I do know that as we continue to work with our values and our principles and provide support for people who are going through things like this, again, because of the news, we hear about everything that's bad and wrong in our world. Dean, what do you do? You're the one who always seems to be able to get past these things. Things come up and...
I settle it down. I wait, I give it time, and I breathe. And I think with the understanding of how we are all on the same planet together, doing our living thing, we can feel the connection we have with everyone. And that connection is sacred. It's special. And it helps to revive it and work with it each day and bring in the best you can.
I mean, that's part of it, is we need to bring in the best we can each day in our own part of the world. I think what can we do locally? How we can't, it seems like we can't affect what's happening in the Ukraine. We can't affect that level at the moment, but you never know what your actions locally and immediately and with your family and with your local community and with the local people in your world, that can butterfly effect into making, improving things. Dean and I were in the Ukraine in 1987. We went on a citizen diplomacy
Really?
trip. And we had actually organized it. We were living in Tucson at the time. We had heard about these citizen diplomacy trips because this was the height of the Cold War. But people, everyday Americans were starting to get the idea that the Russian people were not their enemy, and that they didn't want, that we needed to reach out on a personal level. And so that's what we started doing. There were a lot of people, a lot of everyday people who just went over to Russia and the Ukraine. We actually organized a group of artists. We called ourselves Artist Ambassadors. And we went from, let's see, I think we started in Kiev, actually. And we had the most amazing time. And we are still in touch with Volodymyr Solyanik, who is a Ukrainian pianist that, you know, we just connected with deeply and did some great recordings with while we were there. And then we went on to Moscow and Leningrad and did other things with other musicians. But we ended up, this guy came, I think about 10 years ago. He came to visit us in Bellingham. So we're still in touch with him. There's another Ukrainian person that we're in touch with fairly recently as well. He has a YouTube channel that used some of our video of our music on his channel. It's a very popular channel. And so I'm in touch with him. So I'm kind of, you know, just trying to figure out how to connect with these people and how to help them.
How can we support them?
Yeah, how can we support them?
Yeah. In the work that they're doing is amazing to hold on to that energy that keeps their community together, their best stuff. And so we can encourage them just by our thoughts and thinking as we go through the day. Be supportive of the challenge. They'll feel it.
I thank you. All those ideas are really helpful to me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we look forward to more conversation along these lines, because I think we're all going to be dealing with this for quite a while. What you said, Karen, is super relevant. And we're just, you know, really trying to learn to trust that things do work out for the best. It's a hard lesson.
I had a similar experience this past week of feeling how, you know, hopeless it all seemed. And it was kind of the combination of everything, you know, the Ukraine, but also all the environmental news, especially with regard to the oceans, and then, you know, the ongoing COVID thing, and then the inanity of our politicians and the things they seem so concerned about, you know, like banning books in Florida and whatnot. And it all seemed completely overwhelming. And the only way I could feel comfortable with it, because I felt so useless in terms of affecting any change, was to kind of step back from it. And all you can do is just live in the moment. I mean, there is no alternative to that. And also, maybe, you know, maybe we won't be here forever, the human race, you know. I mean, it's like, I don't even expect things to revert to how they were, you know, 30 or 40 years ago. I mean, it's just like, you know, we really can't control or predict what the future life forms on our earth are going to be at this point. So I think what you said, Dudley and Dean, of, you know, just being your best self locally, even if locally just means within your own household. I mean, whatever you can manage at this moment in time, because it is so unbelievably challenging, I think.
True. And so trust. So trust, this is it. It's like, I remember, you know, I used to hear about, you know, from religious circles, have faith and do what faith. Well, what am I having faith in? You know, I really wondered, what are we having faith in? And part of it is that things do work out eventually. And so not to do anything drastic that would jeopardize the future by doing the wrong things. So we always want to move in the appropriate directions and things like that.
I wanted to add that when was it Megan was talking about feeling hopeless to do anything about it. I think I shared the last time, I'll share it again, that I kind of got a little bit of wisdom that when you feel like there's just something really hard, heavy on your heart that you can't do a darn thing about, to pray for it, at least take all that love and compassion and empathy that you have and send it out as prayer, shower it on that issue. We can do that, or meditate on it, or, whatever your way is of adding your goodness to the situation, and at least, I mean, we could do that. And, so.
Totally. Actually, that's a perfect, it's okay. So I can't fix it, but I'm going to surrender this to a higher power that can help. That there's sort of a universal consciousness out there. And we all know that. Everyone on this call knows that. We know there's something greater than ourselves. So if we can surrender, and thank you, Rebecca, that is such an appropriate thing to say,
And
that we
add
can surrender and
our,
let go from our own attachment to thinking we have to fix it, and open to the greater power.
and add our love to it, so we're helping in that way, we're adding our love and our prayer to the situation. So,
And not making it worse, and
right,
not
not that the higher power needs our prayer, but I don't know.
I was loving listening to what everyone was saying, and of course my wheels are turning. And so far as trusting that, just trusting in other people, that I guess the more of us that are listening, who are, like they were saying, praying, sending out those positive vibes, whatever it is, lends to our world being a better place. And also trusting in the future. And just in my experience right now, a friend has bought some land and has discovered a slave cemetery on the land. And I'll be working on Tuesday for the people who have been gone for centuries now. But that lesson isn't forgotten. And so, as we look around us, there's always something or someone that we can add our goodness to. And hopefully, how many of you all, I definitely noticed the people who, oh, wow, I didn't realize you were from Ukraine. I didn't realize I knew so many people who were from Ukraine. And then just, lending them my support. But I haven't been watching the news, so.
And I will say, not watching the news is also a good thing. If it's hard to be bombarded with it, because that's what the job of the news is to make you worried. And so I think it's important to be aware of what's going on, but not to let ourselves be overwhelmed by it.